Good morning, James, aka Mint with Card. How are you
Good
today?
morning. Doing well. How are you?
I am quite well. Um, I was up too late dancing to Miley Cyrus music, but that's okay. And really quick, we're going to start this off um, in the chat. I have just dropped the link to your Jabberjaw video that went live yesterday. So everyone, if you've missed it, go check it out after stream, of course. And good morning, Hella Geek. Lovely to see you today. Thank you for coming to our live stream. Words will happen eventually. And Paul Galliano, aka the most handsomest actor in Hollywood. I think that's that's the blurb we're going with this week. Says hi, James. So
Hello.
it might have been a little flirty because I feel like he's a little flirty at all times. So also, since Andrew's not here yet, let's get this out of the way because James, you are a channel member, so you know what that means.
Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna sue me one day. Anyway, she can get in line. Anyway, and hello, Ray Black. There we go. That's as close as you'll ever get to me singing online without a couple Long Island iced teas. Good morning, Chris Plastic. Jabberjaw here to ask exactly. Good morning, Derek. Oh, Derek is also a channel member, so you know what that means, everyone.
Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Such a stunning performance by Gal Gadot. Good morning, Shannon. Lovely to see you today. Happy Sunday to you. It's been a while since you've probably been able to make one of these. Because it's very inconvenient for most of the people in the world. So that's why I like it. Yeah, right. Well, that's what's interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit. Again, everyone go watch James's video after the stream. And then I picked this page of Jabberjaw. And I'm going to move my page up here. And then, James, what picture did you pick today to color?
So, we are doing Biff and Clamhead underwater.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Very nice. I am going to turn my camera off so you guys don't have to look at my part today. And we can focus on the art. I'm redoing all the camera stuff because, as I mentioned previously, the next 2 Sundays I have pre-recorded stuff. I'm on vacation from content creation. So the studio is in prep of me using some of that time to finally get everything properly set up. So anyway, with that out of the way, Jabberjaw. It was on there. I think you missed it because of the ad. And thank you for watching the ad because that means I just made 2 cents. So thank you for that, Paul Galliano. And that means they finally figured out how to monetize the live streams because they used to not do that at all with the ads. So thank you, Robot Overlords. Anyhow, back to really quickly, Derek's question, Gary Oldman. Oh, no, that wasn't the one. There we go. It was before that. Jabberjaw really tapping into the children's desire for more Curly from the Three Stooges. So, like, that is what's kind of interesting to me about Jabberjaw is it's like Jaws meets Scooby-Doo meets Curly from the Three Stooges. It's such a weird combination of things. Like, as a kid, I didn't watch it live. I think I was a little too young when it was first on. But it was on Cartoon Express.
Yes.
And so I watched it on there, and I was old enough at that point to get, oh, it's Jaws and Curly and Scooby-Doo. So I just always wonder, like, who at Hanna-Barbera was like, you know, guys, I've got an idea. Let's do this.
I think for the most part, when they found out that Scooby-Doo worked, everyone in the writer's room was like, let's just do that, but different. So we had them in space. We had them underwater.
Well, they kind of did that again in the 80s with the Smurfs. Like, Smurfs was a big hit. And like you mentioned in your Monchi-Chi video, you know, like Monchi-Chi, the cartoon, was like the Smurfs. And it's interesting because Monchi-Chi was an existing property that was imported. And I have not been able to find the original. I have a Monchi-Chi video half written, but I haven't been able to find anywhere where I can watch like the original cartoons to see like what the real, because it's obvious radically different to my understanding. So but they kind of did that again with this. You've got the Smurfs, you've got the Snorks, you've got
the biscuits.
Yeah, right? Like they just sort of repackaged the Smurfs over and over.
That's been the really interesting thing doing these look backs at all these old cartoons, is seeing all of the similarities. And I'm like, oh, that's just like this. And that's just like this.
Well, and it's fun. What's funny to me about it is often we'll hear, and I'm guilty of this myself, oh, there's just no original ideas. They're constantly ripping off old stuff. But it's like, and it was really clear as you've been doing the cartoon jump, flashback, or whatever word I want to use for that, as you've been covering sort of all these old cartoons, like so many of them are just repackaging the same concept with different characters, sort of spaghetti at the walling it of it.
Yeah, but as kids, we didn't think anything about that. We were like, oh, this is cool.
Right. Yeah, that is odd, like that we just sort of accepted it, and as adults it upsets us. Because they're just more trusting, I guess. Like,
yeah, I had my moment where I was like, wait a minute, we've been lied to all these years. None of this was original.
right.
And then I go, huh, okay.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, like with Jaws, like it's so interesting because Jaws was like this huge phenomenon. I was only like a year old when that movie came out, but like growing up during it, you know, it's hard to sort of, you know, because Star Wars came around and that sort of blew up, and then, you know, like Jaws is widely considered like a masterpiece, and it started the blockbuster era of movie making. And it still has like cultural relevance, right? It's still like a great movie. Jaws 2 is still my favorite Jaws movie, but it's really, to me, it's really interesting that like the impact of Jaws is sort of, there are a lot of people that will talk about Jaws and like sort of with this reverence, like it's this, you know, sort of perfect piece of like filmmaking history. And it's like, y'all, there were Jaws like toys, there were, you know, like any sort of way they could cash in on Jaws, they were cashing in. There were toys, you know, like Jabberjaw is a perfect example. Like suddenly people are into sharks. Let's make a cartoon shark that's curly. Like, you know, it wasn't marketed quite as big as Star Wars was, because Star Wars is sort of what created the whole marketing thing. And But Jaws was still like, my uncle had a Jaws game. He had like, I think it may have been for Jaws 2. I don't know if they did a comic book for Jaws 1, but there were comic books. There was a Halloween costume by Ben Cooper. And I think they did that as one of the Ben Cooper kids, and people were like, that was made up. It's like, no, that was real, guys. You could be Jaws for Halloween, thanks to Ben Cooper back in 1975. So it's just, I don't know. Interesting though, like how everything, like prior to Star Wars, Jaws was like the thing. It was like the biggest movie ever at that point. So anyhow, let's see. I remember Shaki more than I remember the biscuits, which is funny. Because when you did the biscuits video, I had to, and then when I saw Shaki, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember them.
I so wanted to put that little catchphrase in there so many more times, but I'm like, okay, this is overkill.
Yeah, you got
dial it back.
I also like to kill a joke and just overdo it, so I appreciate. I often when I do pre-scripted videos, I end up cutting a bunch of the bits because they don't work as well as a voiceover. Like I'm working on the $6 Million Man thing right now, and I've cut all of the jokes except like one of them, and it's not even the same. It's just more sarcastic, like. But all the jokes are kind of gone because it just doesn't always play. So, and that's good. Yeah, Funky Phantom, Clue Club, Foofer, Speed, but I loved Clue Club. When I was first envisioning this channel, I have the where I got the retro reprints had Clue Club, and I just can't find what folder I put it in when I bought it from them. But Clue Club, I loved Clue Club.
Then you may like next week's episode.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's good. And next week I'm on vacay. So whenever I stagger to the computer next Saturday at some point, I will have that to watch. It'll probably happen Sunday morning when I come out here to start my admin work, because I'm going to use my first Sunday off. I'm going to spend scanning all of the completed pages, getting everything filed, all the like technical work that, the busybody work, and so that I can get nobody can see them, but over here they're like stacks of completed coloring book pages and printed pages to be colored, and I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to get all of this, just get it in order so that I can finally get my research library area set up, and set up Strawberry Shortcake, and finish the Star Wars shelves. And so it'll be good. But like I said, I've got videos that will go live Sunday morning, 11 a.m. the next 2 weeks. So you guys aren't completely without Allison. Yeah, everything got a pinball game back in the day. Most of you may not believe this, but I was a huge Kiss fan as a kid. I wanted the Mego Kiss dolls, which were too expensive and I never got. And they're super expensive to try to buy them now, so that will just never happen. But there was the worst pizza parlor in our little dinky town in 1978 in Central Texas. Not the Pizza Hut, because Pizza Hut was good. You wanted Pizza Hut. But the other terrible pizza place had a Kiss pinball machine, so that's where we had to go eat. And I was too little to know if pizza was good or bad, but I remember later my mom complaining about how bad the pizza was, and it was more expensive than Pizza Hut, but they had the Kiss pinball machine. So oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Roll of 3. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Chan Clan, Declan, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids, Josie and the Pussycats, In or Out of Space. I always liked, I preferred the non-space Josie and the Pussycats, but I'm probably the minority there. But I really liked the Josie and the Pussycats movie. I thought that was a lot of fun. That's what Jabberjaw needs. It needs like a meta live action movie with a CGI shark. As they've proved with the Suicide Squad and King Shark, they can do a decent King Shark. I mean, CGI shark. As long as they don't go dark with it. He's back. But no, like a meta Jabberjaw, I think I would be down for. I usually want a really literal translation, like they're talking about doing a Gem and the Holograms TV show, and all I want is them to adapt the original cartoon episodes into live action. Don't try to get clever, guys. But I think with Jabberjaw, you could get clever. I think you could try to be clever and silly and have fun with it. And so, in that case, I'll allow it. But Gem needs to be a literal. We need it to be cheesy 80s fun. Not some sort of attempt to be relevant. Can you imagine if they had tried to do that in the 70s when they were like, let's do Grease as a movie, but let's make it relevant to the 70s?
Let's make it dark and gritty.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I mean, they did tend, like, the original play is a lot more raunchy and a lot more of a send-up of 50s. It's less nostalgic than the movie ended up being. So to a degree, they sort of leaned into sort of the 50s nostalgia that happened in the late 70s between like Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, and it was all sort of kicked off by George Lucas and American Graffiti. But Grease was still, they didn't try to make it more clever. They were just like, let's tone down some of the raunchiness a little bit. As you can see whenever you listen to Grease Lightning, they did not tone that down as much. Oh, we did that for a play in my senior year in high school, and we had to alter the lyrics a little bit. So, good morning, Kenny of Kenzo's Creations, and Kenny is a channel member.
Bring out the up! Bring out the up! Bring out the up!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
And oh no, Alex is here. But you know who's not? Andrew. So here we go.
Bring out the up! Bring out the up! Bring out the up!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you for being channel members, everyone who is. And thank you, because every time we play that, I cackle about how much, if Andrew is around, he is like clenching his jaw and like going, oh my God. Yeah. Cal L, no. I wonder if I still have that one. Let's see. Because at one point I did have a sound clip for that. No, that's not what I want. Here we go. Let's turn off that.
Kalel, no. Kalel, no. Kalel, no. No. Kalel, no. No.
Oh. For whatever reason, it ain't working. All right. Well, I'll figure that out. Thanks, StreamYard. I paid so much money. You can't even make the sound clips work right. Anyway. Where were we? Jaws, Star Wars, American Graffiti, Grease, Lightning, Pussy Wagon. Okay.
Yep.
There we go. back on track. Back to Jabberjaw. So what was interesting is Jabberjaw is set in the future. Sort of like the Jetsons, but not quite the Jetsons. Like, and again, it sort of has that. Did Hanna-Barbera do the Jetsons, or am I misremembering?
Yeah, I think they did.
Interesting. I just read somewhere recently that there was an animated Partridge Family cartoon set in space. That originally started as a Jetsons revival, but the network asked them to do Partridge Family instead. I was like, okay. So that might be one to put on your list of things to cover, because that one's odd. Like, the Partridge Family in the future in space. And apparently they got a couple of the original actors to do the voices, so.
I think it was the mom, and it might have been Danny Bonaducci.
Probably, you could get Danny Bonaducci to show up to the opening of a car wash.
That's true.
I mean, right now I could probably call his. I would have to pay, but I mean, if I had $500, I could probably get him to join me some Sunday to color. Oh, okay. Let's be fair, 300. But yeah. So yeah, Partridge Family 25/8. You know, because nothing says futuristic. Futuristic apocalyptic survival than the Partridge Family in space. Oh, the 70s. I miss you guys. Let's see. And for anyone wondering, today I am using, what are they called? I think they're called Grisey. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a fun set of pencils. There's even videos on the channel of when I first tried them. So for anyone who's curious, there is a video. But they're a nice little pencil set. So anyway, I just moved all the Prismacolors when I was rearranging to get stuff set up, and I was like, I don't want to unbury my Prismacolor because I have to move stuff to do that, and that's too much work. So I just grabbed the case off the shelf this morning. I was like, let's use whatever's in here. But they're a fun set, so it's nice to use them instead of them just sitting there. Let's see. Oh, wait, I missed one. I just missed one. Yeah, Fonz and the Happy Days game with a dog. Gilligan's Planet, Laverne and Shirley in the Army, and Mork and Mindy cartoons. Yeah. I've been researching the New Adventures of Gilligan cartoon by Filmation that came out in the 70s. Spoiler alert, Kenner did a Dip Dots coloring design book for that show. So at some point next year, there will be New Adventures of Gilligan content on the channel. We all know how that's going to go. But for the 7 people who are going to watch it, you're going to enjoy it. So it'll be James and Alex and CJ and Derek, and then like 4 randos. And that's good. That's my audience. You guys are what I think of when I'm like, if I'm going to make this, who's going to watch it? And if I can say, yep, I bet these 5-6 people will watch it, then I'm in. So, right? It's heroically underserved. And I'm not even going to do the typical thing with it where I'm like, they could have got off the island in like 5 minutes. Like, well, of course they could Brainiac, but they would still end up right back on the island at the end of the episode. They got off the island every week. Or almost.
Exactly.
So.
That's not why we watch the show.
Right. We watch it because Gilligan is so funny. But yeah, so there will be some Gilligan content as I've been, and all of that also started because I was researching Filmation. And so Filmation is so interesting as far as like cartoons go, like because there's this weird thing where it's like Lou Scheimer wanted to make all this content where it was like the cartoon was like gave like good moral lessons and helped kids be better people, but he also wanted to make a lot of money. And he was really open about that, and you often don't find people being open that like, yes, I want to make a lot of money but make good content, and sometimes it means we'll make some schlocky stuff. And they had a really good run though. Like, it's too bad that they got screwed over by Columbia when they screwed them out of all of the money and royalties they were owed for the use of the Ghostbusters name. Because according to Hollywood Accounting, Ghostbusters 1984 never made any money. So there was no reason, so they never had to pay Lee Scheimer any of the royalties or licensing fees that they were supposed to pay him for using the name Ghostbusters. And then when Filmation went out of business, they just bought it outright. So there you go. Everybody met the Harlem Globetrotters for a while. That was a great cartoon too, though, actually. I watched the Harlem Globetrotters cartoon every week. And then there was the time the real Harlem Globetrotters were on the Love Boat. That was a good episode. Like, you knew it was going to be a good episode of the Love Boat if the Harlem Globetrotters or the Village People or Charo would be on it. Anytime it was a Charo episode of Love Boat, it was going to be fire. Like, I loved Charo as a kid. She should have had her. I'm surprised she never got her own cartoon because the kids love Charo.
Oh, that would have been great. A Charo cartoon. Yeah.
And they would have had to give her like a little puppy or something, or like not quite a puppy, but not quite not a puppy. Like, and that would have been Coochie Coochie. That would have been the puppy's name, so that every time she did the Coochie, she could be calling the puppy, so that it seems less sexual. And then, of course, the second season, Charo would have had to go to space. So I wonder who owns the rights to Charo. We need to see if Charo is still. I think she's still alive. We need to see if Charo wants to be star in a cartoon, because I bet we can make that happen. Charo and her puppy Coochie Coochie, and then the Coochie Coochie kids. She would have like 3 or 4 kids that travel around. It would be like Mr. T, but Charo.
There you go.
And instead of like athletes, they would be like a traveling troupe of actors and singers. It would be like a traveling, like sort of like a Broadway traveling show, but not, you couldn't call it that because that would be, but it would be like that. All right, I'm in. Let's figure it out. They had it. That cartoon was just so good. The Harlem Globetrotters was so good. Hello, Leia Glacia. Welcome. Lovely to see you this morning. Yeah, I like the Filmation Ghostbusters too. And maybe there are those of us out there that enjoy them. Yeah. And it's funny when you listen to the original Gilligan's Island theme because it was like, and many more instead of Professor and Marianne. Like, that's rude. Yeah, 100% Charo cartoon. If I go back in time, I would want to meet Snoopy and make sure a Charo cartoon happened. Which is a Josie and the Pussycats joke, for those of you wondering about the Snoopy. At the end of the movie, when Josie and Melody are like making up, Josie says, if I could go back in time, I would fix all of this. And Melody goes, if I could go back in time, I would meet Snoopy. And Josie's like, I love that you think that's a possibility. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. The movie star and the rest. They're all here, all your favorites. The Gilligan, Skipper, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, and all the rest of them. Like one of those CD commercials from the great hits of the 90s. They're all here, all your favorites, and many more. Yeah, I really, I mean, like I prefer the real Ghostbusters cartoon to the 1984 movie and the sequel. I'm not a huge Ghostbuster movie fan. The first Ghostbusters movie I liked was the 2016 one because I like all of the actresses. And I went and saw Ghostbusters in 1984. That was, you have to remember, guys, that was the year that Gremlins came out. And Gremlins was far superior to Ghostbusters. Fight me. You do, Leia. You need to go watch Josie and the Pussy. Everyone should watch it. I watch it twice a year because it's that that relevant to the person I have become. I every so often will like be in the kitchen cooking and Matt will come in and he'll say something. I'll be like, "De jour means friendship," and Matt has. I mean, at this point he's seen it, but like he hasn't seen it enough to remember. I usually put it in and he's like, I'm gonna go play video games. And I'm like, okay, have fun. No, de jour. And if you're a Parker Posey fan, Parker Posey and Josie and the Pussycats is really funny. So no, it's a great movie. Again, it's why I kind of every so often you can do a meta movie, I think. And it can work. I don't have they made Josie and the Pussycat dolls. I should make it my goal next year to get some Josie and the Pussycats movie dolls. It'll be fun. Because I remember wanting to get them when they were coming out, but it was at a point in time where I was not spending money on things like it was Star Wars and comic books. That was like everything else was like I was living in Austin at the time though, so like 2000 to 2002 when I was in Austin, like it was right at the bubble of like when you could still kind of afford to live in Austin vaguely affordably. Right before it sort of blew up into the unaffordable mess it currently exists as. But still, I wasn't making enough money that. I mean, I worked at 2 or 3 different .coms that burst. So the nice thing that often people don't talk about with those is a lot of those jobs though came with a nice severance. So there was a point where I didn't work for like a year because I had collected enough severance that I now look back and I'm like, I really should have been smarter with that money. Exactly. I really needed that silver skirt, guys. I could go dancing. My silver shiny foil skirt with the holographic reflective blouse. Uh, oh, it was such a tacky time. I miss it. And we were driving around Austin with, I had a sunroof and I had the sunroof open in a silver skirt with like some neon aqua neon tights, some clunky Doc Marten shoes, my holographic shirt cranking don't steal my sunshine. It's like, oh my god, it's so tacky. I miss it. I miss being that tacky and oblivious, thinking I'm like the coolest person in the world with like the cross hatching that you would do in your hair. Well, obviously, you probably were not doing the cross hatching in your hair like I was, but who knows? Maybe you did. I imagine,
Oh, no,
James,
I remember.
you had those short, spiky, frosted tips because it was that era.
I may or may not have.
And we may or may not have probably been on the same dance floor at some point in that phase. You're like, who's this
May or
tacky
may
bitch
not have had.
right?
I may or may not have had a puka shell necklace.
You probably did. It was Austin. It was the late 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. Who didn't have one? I dated a guy one time, and like the first time he spent the night, he left his necklace, and I was excited because I'm like, oh, now I have to call. I definitely need to call him back. He left his necklace here. But yeah, no, it was Austin was really fun at that point in time. It's been so long, I don't know what it's like now, but I remember driving around Austin with the sunroof open and super tacky clothes, going to Chewy's. Or going
And now
to,
you get in your car and you just sit in traffic.
that was sort of the phase where that started happening if you were going to the wrong place. Like, for a while there, it was easy to get around certain parts of Austin. And then other parts not so much. But what was the big mall that's gone now that was in like the center of Austin?
That would be Highland Mall.
Highland Mall. I remember. Because for a while I had an apartment off Lamar, which was perfect because it was down the road from one of the Chewy's. And if I took the right road, there was a Target right by me. And I would do, and then down by sort of the interstate that you would take to get to like Houston. Well, go by the airport, get to the exit and stuff for Houston. There was a TGI Fridays and a giant super Walmart. And I had my toy hunt days when I was on Lamar hooked so that I would get up at 11, right when Chewy's open, go have lunch / brunch, and then hit the Target, hit Highland Mall. There was a comic book shop between the two. Hit the Big Lots, which you could sometimes find good action figures and dolls and stuff for really cheap. And then hit the Walmart, and then and all of that would happen just in time to go to TGI Fridays for happy hour. And that wasn't far from where my office at the time was. So people who were getting off of their day shift would come meet me so that I could drink and then somebody would drive me home. So I had it all planned out on my days off so that I could toy hunt, get comic books. Sometimes I cram a movie in there. Not always, though. I don't know. It's a good time. I got more movies than whenever I was between .coms. I was just like, I'm not going to go back to work for 3 weeks. And then I would go see movies every day. Oh, Austin. There are parts of it I truly miss. Not the heat. not the summer, not the traffic, not Carl's number 3 through 6. But there were some good times in Austin. My friend and his husband are just sold their house in Austin and are moving to Colorado. So that was kind of sad, I thought. Because whenever we moved to Austin, it was with, well, he didn't have a husband at the time. But, because, it was the 90s. But he also is from my hometown. So, like, I've known him since we were, like, 12, 13. And last time I was in Austin, we went and had drinks and dinner, and I think we went to maybe it wasn't Chewy's. I can't remember where we went, but it was just good to sit and have dinner with them and catch up in Austin. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Derek and Paul Galliano bonding over the real Ghostbusters, the ones Filmation, the original Ghostbusters. All right, there we go. I forgot when I started, when I colored the background, that Jabberjaw is also blue. So I'm going to have to be a little bit cautious so that he doesn't just blend into the background. Also, I liked when I was in Austin, I don't know if it's still there, but there was Trudy's. And like they made the best Mexican martini.
Sadly, they are no longer with us.
I figured that they wouldn't last. There were so much like Chewy's that like sometimes I would forget, especially on the 6th or 7th Mexican martini, that it wasn't the same restaurant. So I also liked going down to the Hula Hut. I think they're still there, aren't they?
Yes, they are still around.
I liked going and sitting out on the water. We got there at the right time when the sun was setting. It was gorgeous. And then if you were there and drank too much, you just stumble across the parking lot to that coffee shop. I do know my favorite coffee shop, Spider House Cafe. I think it was a Spider House Cafe. We just always called it Spider House. I do know that they're closed.
Yes.
Which is too bad. They were really good. I loved getting their hibiscus tea. That was actually where the first time I drank coffee was there. I did not drink coffee prior to moving to Austin. Everyone's like, you have to drink coffee. And I'm like, it's so gross. And we get hibiscus tea and everyone else we get coffee. And then my friend gave me a bunch of her, she was going on Atkins. She gave me all of her international coffees, little mixes. And that is the gateway to like somebody who doesn't like coffee because it's like too bitter or whatever. Those international coffees, because they're chocolate and caramel and cinnamon and all that's your gateway. That's how they get you kids. Now you just go get like a caramel macchiato at Starbucks. And that was the other thing. There was a Starbucks in Austin that was by what was it by that I had to take Billy to? Can't remember, but I would take one of the Carls there, and I would go get Starbucks, and I'd be like, this white chocolate mocha thing is delightful. So we'll just all pretend I didn't use his real name for a second there. It never
We heard
happened,
that.
kid. It never happened. If you're watching, it never happened. No. But yeah, no, like that was how and then I went to like the worst of the call centers. And there were some days the only way I got survived the day was going to the break room and making coffee. And then you have to drink it because why were you in the break room for 30 minutes getting coffee, but you don't drink coffee? And that's the real way they hook you. Work avoidance. God, that job was terrible. Anyway, I don't miss that company. I wonder if I should look them up later and see if they're still around. This is my first non.com call center. But my first time learning about what outsourcing meant. And HR at a call center is not fun at all, let me tell you. Especially at a company where the internet is, you can look, the internet had no blocks on it. You could just surf the internet from your desk. So there were a lot of really interesting conversations with some of the men who had overnight shifts. Like, I know you're technically the only person in this whole building for like 2 hours, but come on. There are things you should not be looking at. I wasn't looking at that. The pop-ups say otherwise.
Right.
It's like, oh my goodness. You didn't even close them all. I'm sure that guy is on a registry somewhere now. Anyway. Hella geek. All right. All right, so Jabberjaw is done. Let's see, what color? Okay, so all the little musical notes just look like they're white with like blue in them, in the reference photo anyway. So let's see. It says aqua, but that's blue. All right, I'm gonna use this jade color. Put some green in there. There's some green under the sea. Yeah, it's funny. Somebody, like, when people talk about Alamo Drafthouse now, like, I still have to stop and remember, like, it's a national chain now. It's not just this cool little spot downtown Austin. And you can go and get a margarita and barbecue ribs and watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They used to, I don't know, do they still show like obscure movies at Alamo, or is it now just always big Hollywood stuff?
So the one downtown will show all of the off the wall weird movies.
Okay. Okay, so the downtown one is still OG, and the rest of them are.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That was what I.
The
liked
other
about
ones
it.
will do it. Yeah, the other ones will do it every so often, like once or twice a month. They'll be like, "Hey, come watch this movie from 1970. Come watch Airplane. Come to watch Blazing Saddles."
See, I love some Airplane. I drove up to Portland was it last? It would have had to be last year because we will be in this house 2 years in October, and it was there's a place in Austin called the Academy, and every year they do scary movies for October, and they always do like really good old stuff. So last year I did drive up to catch a few things. Because there's just some stuff that's more fun. Like Friday, the original Friday the 13th is still pretty creepy if it's on the big screen. Like one of the things I often try to remind myself is like some movies work better at the theater on a screen, and some stuff is better as a rental, like at your house on TV. And even I've noticed lately there's some stuff that works better on the computer than like on a TV at all. So, but I think we've started figuring that out in the 80s though, because there's stuff that like would tank at the theater and was like sort of lame and sucky, but on VHS it was great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. Those bubbles got some variants to them. Very nice. Excellent. All right. How's your picture coming, James?
We have
Ooh.
some stuff, Mr. Biff.
Oh, I'm going to embiggen you really quick. That looks really good.
Yep.
Getting your shading in there even.
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. That's very good. Oh, Alex is still here.
He's like, I'm still here.
Alex is still here. Where would Alex go? Probably to the comic shop. Whenever Alex disappears on Sundays, he's either fallen asleep because Alex works overnight or comic book shop. I need to go to a comic book shop because they're doing a Titans annual with art by Phil Jimenez starring Donna Troy, aka the real Wonder Girl. So I need to go pick that up. Sadly, though, there's no comic book shops in my area, so I'll need to call one of the stores in Portland and see if they will hold it for me and if I can arrange shipping. I'll buy some other stuff from them as well. Because I don't think I'm going to make it up to Portland before October. I usually go normally the 2 weeks I take off from content creation in July, part of it is to sort of travel up there. And it's just not feasible this year from a logistical point of view. Which happens. It's called growing up, being old. Home improvement. You should. Stuff. Yeah, all the adult stuff. Well, it's funny, because when you make adult money, there's sort of I think we all go through it, especially those who have been adult collectors, where there's that one phase where you get the adult money and you just go wild and you buy everything because you've got adult money now. Mm-hmm. And then at some point you're like, oh, wait, okay, I can't buy everything. That's like the, Walmart had these things that were like exclusive called Sweet Spaces, and it was these little boxes with like a dollhouse room in it, and they're all this sort of surprises because all toys now have to have surprises. And it's like, to build your perfect dollhouse, you can combine sets. So I went and did the research because that's how I am, and I realized that to build the perfect dollhouse with the sets, I needed one of the starter set. I needed the bedroom kit, and then I needed 6 of the room add-on basic sets, and then 12 of the little blind boxes, so that I could. And then there were like some furniture sets, like living room, bathroom, and this all went down like last November that I saw them. I'm like, well, there's no way I can afford all of that because that would be hundreds of dollars, bills, holidays, It was right when we paid our property taxes. But then I was like, okay, well, here's what we'll do. So every week for the last November, December, January, it's like what, 10 months now? 9-10 months. When we go do the shopping we do at Walmart, I've picked up $20 worth of stuff from the Sweet Spaces, and I finally finished getting everything. And I was like, that's how you budget as an adult. Like a little bit here, a little bit there until it's complete. And I did that thing that we as adult collectors will often do where I started paying. What if somebody goes in and buys it all and then I can't find it? And I was like, then I don't need it. You know, like that's not the, you know, like I got this basic stuff that I would need to, you know, put it all together. Those were the first purchases, the stuff that has to happen. And then everything after that is just bonus, right?
Yep.
But it was still, there were a couple times where I'm like, I should just drop $60 and finish it off. And I'm like, nope. Let's be smart. In this economy, we need to be smart. But it's hard to do that. And then you finally got your Snake Mountain.
I did. My white whale finally came home.
Nice. And then you also mentioned you did not spend, you spent, you know, like a reasonable amount for it. So that was good to hear.
My husband actually negotiated on my behalf.
Oh, very nice.
I suck at negotiations at toy shows.
Oh, yeah.
They're always like, I want $500. And I'm like, okay, sounds reasonable.
Right.
And he was like, no, do the research. What's it going for? And I'm like, this price. And he's like, I got this.
Well, not only that, the thing to keep in mind for toy shows, especially with those bigger items, like they don't really they have to take it all back with them. And it's like the less stuff they have, the better. You know, and even Jay has said that on, you know, like streams before, like the last day is like the time you can really get some really good deals because they just don't want to have to load it all back up. And so if you go in, I mean, you have to be fair. You can't just be like, oh, I'll give you $5. It's like, it's 500, sir. You know, like that's unreasonable. But I think if you approach negotiations fairly at toy shows, they're often open to it. I am saving, like, and that's the other thing. I save up for I'm saving up for the new Castle Grayskull Snake Mountain combo because it's really cool. I mean, it's not like it's that much, but I save up for anything over $20 is definitely like budget, plan, save. And so, but after I have that, and before I buy that, I need to get that Fright Fighter. So, and I'm $5 away from having that afforded. So, because again, like when it's a big ticket item, you just have to be smart about it.
Keep an eye out at Target because they're putting all of that movie stuff on clearance.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone the other day got Shop Saturday, buy something. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a Target close to me, but what is nice is when stuff gets put on clearance, I can find it on eBay. Reasonable. Like I got, I held off forever for the Stranger Things, the Skeletor and the He-Man, and I don't want the Skeletor, the He-Man. I just wanted the Demogorgon and the Vecna. And I found somebody selling just those two figures on eBay for like $30. With shipping, it was like $45. But those sets for the two figures were $45 each. And the sets themselves, mint, inbox, unopened, were going for like 50 to 60 bucks. And I would get an extra figure, extra packaging. I'm like, let me just order them like out of the package, mint complete, and not have to worry about extra packaging, 2 extra figures I don't need. I've got so many He-Man and Skeletors and Origins scale. And so I'm just holding out for the I might cave and get the Horde set, the Hordak and the like demon guy with like the guitar.
Yep. That one's a
But
real
the
cool
reason,
one.
but also like it's a really to me the glow in the dark Hordak makes it really different. So it's not like with the Skeletor and the He-Man where it's just a slightly different paint up. Like, and I know technically it's just Hordak is now glow in the dark, but you know what we've never had? Glow in the dark Hordak.
Mm-hmm.
So you get him at some point soonish. That should go on sale pretty soon, it seems like. But yeah, I don't know. I've tried to. It's helped that I'm surrounded by all this unopened shit from the last 30, 40 years. It's weird, like opening stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I've been shopping. I was like, I need to get a mint on card Catwoman from Batman Returns. And I've been shopping online, looking at them on eBay, going to like toy stores and stuff looking for it. And like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, all right, next week I will, I'll budget for that. Like what I make from Toy Geeks, doing the research, I put all of that toward buying. Like I buy myself like a gift, finger quoted gift, every time I we complete a toy line. And it's something from like the week that I researched or whatever, whatever toy line it is. So when we were doing all the Toy Biz superhero stuff, I'm like, well, let me, pick up some DC stuff. And I was like, well, I'll do the Catwoman. So I sort of plotted all of that out. And I would have been buying her last week. And then I opened a box and I have a mint on card Batman Returns Catwoman. I'm like, I am really glad I opened this box. Which is why I've sort of not been buying a lot of anything right now, because I'm like, I probably have that. Except, I mean, obviously, if it just came out, I'm not going to have it, but I also like have so much, like, I haven't even opened any of my Thundercat Origins figures yet. Like, those are all backed up, so I need to. Spoiler alert for those of you who watched the What I Opened videos. What I opened in July, it's going to be some Thundercat Origins figures.
When you do, just be careful with your Tigra. The stripes on his arms are not painted very well, and they tend to rub off.
I don't know. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
There we go. It really is, Andrew. Welcome, Andrew. Yeah, like it's. Well, what's nice is everything is starting to be very neatly piled, and like I've been throwing boxes out. Like I found, I had one box I opened, and I was looking at the side of it, and every time you move, you write what's on the side of a box. Mm-hmm. And I went down and I'm like, wait, I've had this box since I moved. When I moved from Texas to Oregon. I've had a cardboard box that I've repacked with stuff for like at this point over 20 years. So I'm like, I'm gonna throw this box away. And it, it's starting to be. It's not like it's a great box. But I'm like, I'm also probably not gonna move again, and it's not like I could use this if I sell stuff off on eBay. I can't use this to ship it. It's too beat up. It's too old. You can smell time and bad decisions in the cardboard of this box. You definitely get bad negative rating on eBay when it's like the box smelled like sadness and bad relationships. And so you can't really reply to that with anything other than, "Oh no, you're right. Good call, sir." So, but yeah, it's nice to have, sort of a bunch of stuff on display, have less clutter, less unboxed stuff. The Tuesday after, not this week Tuesday, but the Tuesday after during my week off, I finally sorted all of the Power of the Force, Episode 1, and Power of the Jedi figures, so I'll be able to start getting all of that set up, so that's exciting. Like, it's just exciting to be able to see all of the decades of wasted money. Wasted money I could have spent on other things. I mean, I could have, but whatever. I think, my stuff brings me great joy.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. Okay, so this picture has all the instruments blue, but in the actual cartoon clips, they all have different colors, So whoever is responsible for that picture is a piece of shit. I'm just kidding. It's probably for a DVD cover or something where they're like, we need it to be really consistent so the kids will buy it. It's like, sir, no kid is going to buy a Jabberjaw video on demand set from Amazon just because you've recolored everything so it's consistent. Tell me you don't understand the vintage cartoon fan quicker by how many message boards were probably on fire. The Jabberjaw message board was probably just losing their mind that week. Oh my god, they got the instruments wrong, and I can't blame them because I'm having the same moment right now as I'm coloring this. Oh my god, you got it wrong. What intern needs to get fired? Well, it's interesting too. A bunch of these pictures have changed the Jabberjaw's guitar, so it says Jabberjaw rather than the Neptunes. So there you go.
And if you go back and watch, because they only made 16 episodes, but every chase scene used one of 5 songs. So by the end, you knew every word to every one of their songs.
I remember enjoying their songs though. Like, again, I was a kid though. To be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, as I mentioned earlier,
Yeah, I sat down one day and was like, it's 16 episodes. Let's watch them all. And by the end, I was like, all of these songs sound very familiar.
They're like, we're just, we're only going to get 16 episodes. Let's just go for it. Well, and it's kind of, I remember that too, like when I rewatched the Josie and the Pussycats cartoons, there was only a couple of the same song over and over. I think a lot of us got spoiled by Gem and the Holograms because there were like 1,000 new songs. Like every episode had at least 2 new songs. And considering there were like 60 to 80 episodes of that show, that's like unheard of. Like, they certainly went above and beyond, in my opinion, with the original music on. And I think that's part of why we all still fondly remember Gem and the Holograms, is because they really did put a lot into trying to make that show everything it could be. Here we are. Oh yeah, it's coming. Okay. I'm going to stop and look at the picture on the camera. It's at some point I should get one of those tables that sort of tilt up so that it's at an angle so I can see it better. Because right now it's just flat, but yeah, so I have to look every so often. I look up at the camera to make sure it looks okay. Or that the effect I'm trying to do is working. So anyway, that's the inside baseball, you guys, for the episode. All right, there we go. No, I don't. Okay, there we are. Sorry, I was just having a inner monologue about what I wanted to do with the rest of the strum kit. Sorry. I wasn't going to say anything deep or profound. I was just going to be like, but that color won't look right. So if they do Jabberjaw the movie, who do we cast as? Who would you cast for the movie?
Are we leaning into comedy or are we going to do a serious take?
I think we do comedy, but we do it so we do comedy in a way where, like, sort of like Josie and the Pussycats, where they don't necessarily realize that they're not doing it jokes. It's like, so they're playing it straight, but it's humorous. Because I think if you get too wink, wink, nudge, nudge with the humor, it would kill too much the concept of a big talking shark. I know that sounds silly, but I think the way you sell the ridiculousness of it is everybody in the movie, all the characters are very straight, like this is their reality. So there's no wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The jokes can be wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but the actors and characters need to not play it that way. Like they need to play it like a farce rather than a parody. So if that helps, I don't know. There's a lot of words.
So I'm thinking, let's do Tom Holland as Biff.
Okay. He would be good.
We'll do Bill Hader for Clamhead.
That would be good.
That might work.
Yeah.
From a financial standpoint and to bring in the audience, I would never do it. But let's get Sydney Sweeney as Bubbles.
Okay, that would work. Well, and that's, like I'm not a fan of her per se, but I think that's a role she would be good with. It's like when people are like Supergirl, Sydney Sweeney, it's like, girl, no. But I could see her as Bubbles. I think that actually would play into what her like skill set is. So yeah, I could see her as as Bubbles. That would work.
And then just because we'll cast Zendaya as Shelley.
That would be perfect. Yeah. And having them both in Jabberjaw would help overwrite the memory of the terrible, terrible ending of the Euphoria show. It was so bad, I now don't ever want to watch that show again. So I was very angry at that ending. Everyone's like, they set it up. I'm like, I don't care. They also set it up in Mad Men, said that it was possible he was D.B. Cooper, and that didn't play out. I'm not angry about that because it ended up being a better story the way they did it. All right, let's see. Okay, so we still need to do the bubbles in the drum kit. There we go. All right, and then little yellow in the background. Oh, wait. Sorry, Andrew. Good morning, Sight Beyond Sight. Happy Sunday to you. And as a channel member, it's really important for you to know what time it is.
Bring out the olive. Bring out the olive. Bring out the olive.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Excellent. There we go. I think, no, that's, there are still 3 members who have not arrived yet, Andrew. Yep, Andrew, it's definitely Andrew's favorite time. When I finally get around to sending Andrew a care package, I'm going to make sure to include olives, like a jar of, I'll send him the olives that are stuffed with like feta or garlic. Get him some fancy kind, but make sure he gets his olives because they're really good for you guys. They're full of nutrients and they're super dense. I don't know if that's true. I'm not a nutritionist, so that's not health advice or anything. It's just common sense. If you're not eating olives, you're poisoning your body. I love that. I love when I come across those videos on the internet. Somebody's like in the cereal aisle losing their mind. If you're feeding this to your kids, you're killing your kids. It's like, oh, please. Please sit down, Kyle. Ooh, those are really good. They're really good olives. Yeah. I am, but I pretty much have never met an olive I don't like. I am very much like, give me the cheapest jar of olives with some pimentos in it, and I will tear that up. I also like, I always mispronounce it, but Kalamata olives. I really like those. I used to get this really nice, when I was in Portland, there's New Seasons Groceries, and they would have the containers in the deli section. It would be Kalamata. Can't say it now because I just called it out. But they would have all the different fancy olives in it, and they would soak it in a little olive oil. So that could be weird. Anyway, let's not think about the weirdness of soaking olives in olive oil. And they would crumble feta, like it was garlic herb and then fire roasted tomato feta, and they would crumble that in it. That was delightful. And we just get that and put it on bread and eat it. I should see if they have that next time I go to Portland. Because it was super delightful. And olives, so. I think that's extra why the olives things crack me up, because I really eat a lot of olives. I have to buy at least 2 jars every time. We go to the grocery store every 2 weeks, and I buy 2 jars of olives. And I'm usually out halfway through the week. Because I just love them, so. Anyway. So it's not just a joke, guys. It's reality. We often bring out the olive. Matt doesn't like them, so I don't have to share. But yeah, so we do I bring out the olives at home all the time. That's what I should make tonight. I should see what olives I do have and make a olive paste. So I've got pita. Maybe that's what I'll do for dinner. Is I'll heat the pita, make some olive paste. I think I still have some. I've got some stew meat that needs to get used. I could grill that up and throw that in the skillet with a bunch of bacon fat and some onions. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I don't know what Matt will eat because he won't eat most of that, but we'll figure it. I think we've got frozen burritos. You can have a frozen burrito. He'll be fine. No. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. Andrew, you would never block me. You know better than this, Andrew. If you blocked me, like you couldn't share their cavalcade things on your channel. So, which reminds me, I need to go and make sure that I've told, because every so often YouTube will be like, this person is stealing your content. It's like, no, bestie, he's allowed to do that. I need to go tell them, hey, bruh, it's okay.
I know him.
Yeah, right? Like, literally. But, yeah. No, I've got, like, that's year one of the olives clip. I am working on an updated olive clip. I don't know when it will debut. But yeah, it'll be fun once it launches. She's got like extra thigh there. That's weird. Okay. I'm just not gonna question it. Not gonna question the extra thigh. Da, 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 no. Right? They act like you are. They're just like, this channel has streamed your entire thing, and it's just a retro cavalcade. And it's like, come on, guys, chill out. Especially because like people actually do steal content on YouTube, and YouTube never alerts those people. Someone streams the same stuff from the same channel and you get an alert. It's like, bruh. There we go. Surprised that no, they wouldn't, because I think it starts with my channel. Yeah, it's just all this weird stuff that you don't realize about how YouTube works until you spend a day clicking around all the different sections of the dashboard/studio, and then you find like 17 alerts that Andrew is this person stealing your content? And it's like, no, it's okay, it's fine. And then you have to archive it all. But again, it's like often I'll hear creators complain that like somebody has stolen their content. And I'm like, do you just not know where to check to see if that's happening? Because like it shows you when somebody swipes all of your channel. And the thing is if they don't alert you, then it means it falls under fair use. And you need to just let that go. So, but that's a different stream. Anyway, okay, so we got your cast for it. I think I like your cast for it. I don't think I have any notes. Like that would be really, and I think, yeah, I do. I really like Zendaya. I mean, like I like Zendaya, and I don't think I've seen anything she was in where I didn't like her. She's been in some movies I didn't like. Obviously, the end of Euphoria, I'm not happy with.
Yeah.
But like, that's not on her. She didn't write that shit. Whoever wrote that ending needs to be taken out behind the wood house and like given some lashings and forced to watch every episode of Touched by an Angel 3 times slower than it's meant to be watched at. And Mary Moby. No, that seems too extreme. Nobody should have to marry Moby. But still. But still. Shelly has, no, not Shelly, Bubbles has the weird, like sometimes they make it look red, sometimes it's a weird blonde, so we're just gonna go weird blonde. I saw somewhere that was trying to give Shelly like brown hair, and I'm like, that's not right, guys.
No.
I mean, I suppose I could have just watched episodes, but why? Jabberjaw 3D file. You know, I think I'll be okay. I don't think I need the 3D file.
You don't want a 3D printed Jabberjaw?
And it's him at his drum kit, but you know, I you know, hey. Like, I'll just wait for some toy company to make Jabberjaw the figure. But they'll do everyone but Jabberjaw before the toy line gets canceled.
So it'll be Jada Toys.
Yeah, it'll be like Jada Toys.
We're doing Scooby-Doo. Cool. But not Scooby-Doo.
Right? At least they didn't start out with Scrappy.
Oh, gosh.
It's like wave 1, Scrappy-Doo, Scooby-Dum, Scooby-Dee.
Oh, spoiler. That's going to be their big announcement at SDCC.
Right? Scrappy-Doo.
Scrappy-Doo.
You know, he has people who like him. I don't know them personally, but there are apparently people who like him because he keeps coming back.
Right. Yep.
Like, I kind of get, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're going to do a Scooby-Doo toy line, I get not, like, releasing all of the A-listers right away, but I feel like if you're going to do a Scooby-Doo toy line, wave 1 should be Scooby-Doo and, like, 3 ghosts. And then wave 2 should be, like, one of the others. Like, you've got Shaggy, you've got Velma, you've got Daphne, you've got Fred, and then, like, 3 ghosts. Because there are enough ghosts that they could do, like, all 5 of the main characters, Scooby, Fred, Velma, Daphne, and Shaggy. You can get 5 waves out of that and do 3 ghosts with each wave. And, like, that way you've got Scooby-Doo, regardless, you've got some ghosts. And then, like, the next year you've got, like, and I wouldn't do Shaggy because you do want people to keep buying, but, like, you do Scooby, 3 ghosts, and then you do, like, say, Daphne the next year and 3 ghosts. Then you do Fred, then Velma, and then you save Shaggy for last. But that way, for people who just want Scooby-Doo, they're done, because those people who just want Scooby-Doo are not going to be buying those first 2 years, or however many years it takes you to get to Scooby-Doo. They're just not going to buy it until Scooby-Doo is out. So it's not a thing where it's, you know, like, you know, with Masters of the Universe Origins, people are like, oh, too bad, too bad. It's like, he's the last big vintage character left. So there are a lot of people who will, you know, be done with Origins when he releases. So that makes sense. But, like, it's not like they're withholding, like, other major characters, too. And, like, too bad. Like, we have fondness for him, but he's not necessarily a major character.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's, you know, like, I think there's that you've got to find that balance between A-listers and B-listers. And I think you can get away with spreading the Scooby-Doo characters out, but you definitely should be launching with Scooby-Doo. Like, there's no worlds where like Scooby-Doo is like a year 4 figure for a Scooby-Doo toy line. You know, and at least they're not doing like Scooby-Doo with, you know, like doing a bunch of weird variants. Like, I do give them props for that, but it's still weird that there's no Scooby-Doo at all. You know, make it so the people who are going to be one and done can get their one figure and be gone. So we don't have to listen to them complain, and we don't have to complain with them and feel like we're those people. This is my TED Talk. All right, there we go. Bubbles, done. Let's see. All right, we'll do Shelly was my favorite as a kid.
Yes.
I don't know.
I
don't know why I related to Shelly. I can't imagine any reason why that may have been the fact, but it was. And if anyone else can think of why that may be the fact, shut your bitch mouth. I'm just kidding. Don't go there. It's too early. You don't want that kind of drama. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's pretty clear, I think. I mean, she had a shark in love with her. That was weird, though. Like, I will say it was a little weird, even as a kid, that the shark wanted to date her or whatever. Like, and there were times where it felt like she kind of was like, I don't want to say leading him on, but it feels like she leaned into it a little too much sometimes. Like, she certainly didn't shut it down as much as she probably should have, considering he's a shark and she's not. So. And of course, now there's probably somebody who's into that sort of thing who's going to be mad and try to counsel me, and I'm sorry. I can't. There are a lot of things I find permissible, but for some reason, and I think it's because sharks could easily eat you, but it feels weird. So, but you know, whatever. I guess to each their own. Shark love. And this is how we find out there's an organization for that. They get a cease and desist from them. You should take your stream down. You're giving us a bad name. Oh my goodness. All right. All right, and his guitar is green. Again, it's not blue like this other picture keeps trying to show me. Jerks. Okay. I need yellow again. All right. Oh, green, green, green. All right, the rest of them have yellow too, so I'm just going to keep the yellow out. All right. If you ever wonder what does Allison say when she's filming, because you can't hear it in time lapse, it's stuff like this. Oh, hello, Rowdy Riles. Lovely to see you today. How are you this morning? Hopefully well. Hopefully resting. I can't remember if you work on your overnight shifts on Saturdays. So Um, yeah, I think that's important to remember about the turtles, that they are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I used to have a really good joke about it was when the crossovers were out of control and it was a Sex and the City joke. It was from the Sex and the City Turtles crossover. Oh man, and it was like Samantha over. Oh yeah, that's okay. Let me see if I can do it. So it's and of course Carrie Bradshaw. Over lunch, Samantha said, "Those underage adolescent turtles aren't the only things he shreds." And just like that, Samantha found love in the last place expected in New York, in the sewers. Anyway, because that's very much something Samantha would have said. That's not the only thing he shreds. But yeah. Oh, turtles. Well, it was always odd to me that, like, it was almost like, well, I don't know if it's, I don't know. See, that's the thing, like, with the turtles, because they are mutants.
Mhm.
So it's not like they're normal turtles. I don't know, something about the shark romance with Shelley, or the desire, I guess is the better term, just feels weirder than, like, I don't know. I mean, like, clearly several of the turtles had crushes on April O'Neil. Somehow that feels less weird than a shark and Shelley. But also maybe it's partly though because Jabberjaw was clearly curly from the Three Stooges, so he was really older. So he was almost like that weird old guy hanging out with the kids at the party. So maybe there's like layers to it that's beyond just the shark human thing. Like, let's unpack that. No, just kidding. We don't have time for that. But one day, we'll do a retro cavalcade at some point. We'll have you on for that one, James, where we talk about where we unpack all of the weird subtext romance of old cartoons. Because there are a lot of them. At least with Josie and the Pussycats, it was just Alexandra and then Alan Dean. I think that was his name. It sounds wrong, though.
There's one in Speed Buggy as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Again, it seemed to be a weird go-to for Hanna-Barbera.
That's a future video idea. Guys,
Yeah,
was
there you
Hanna-Barbera okay?
Right. They are right. That one would probably get 1 million views if you did the right thumbnail for it. You would have to do the Hanna-Barbera and then question mark, are they okay? Question mark. You won't believe this. And then you do like yourself like looking really surprised and shocked. I came across a thumbnail like that the other day. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to click on it. And I was like, there's no part of this video that has the same level of outrage you were displaying in that thumbnail. It's like, come on, guys. But it worked because I clicked on it. So I'm part of the problem, obviously. I mean, I fall for it all the time where I'm like, clicking on stuff that I'm like, why am I even watching this? It's like the thumbnail got me. But that's probably normal. I think we all fall for thumbnails from time to time. Like anytime at this point, somebody drops the bricks and minifig stuff, I click on it. And I'm definitely part of the problem. And it's like none of them are saying anything new at this point. Like if you watch one update on what's going on, you've seen them all, but still I click. So I'm encouraging it. That's what you should do next week. Do were bricks and minifigs responsible for the downfall of Filmation? There you go.
We're going to be looking at this cartoon, but it's all bricks and minifigures' fault.
Right. The reason nobody watched this in 1978 was bricks and minifigs stole their very expensive Lego sets, and they can no longer afford production on the TV show. There you go. And get you a gazillion subscribers and a bunch of views. And just hope you can stomach that's the and that's what it comes down to whenever I'm like, I could make this video and probably get a lot of views. And then I'm like, but I don't want to make videos like that, even if it's a one-off, because once you do one of them, that's all and you get a lot of views for it, that's all YouTube is going to send your way. Like, I struggle with that. Like, if I have a She-Ra video go really big, then they won't show any of the Star Wars stuff, and so yeah, right? Yeah, like, exactly. I hate that. Yeah, it's a problem. I agree. Right. I mean, with Retro Cavalcade, we kind of make fun of it a little bit, but I never make the thumbnail. I make terrible thumbnails, but I'm okay with that. Like, the thing is if you go to my channel page and look at the videos, there's like a nice cohesiveness to it. It looks nice. Like, there's sort of a channel identity. It's not a bunch of clickbaity thingies that you can see anywhere. Like, aesthetically, I look at it and I'm happy. And ultimately, I make the content I make is because when I was looking for the content I make, nobody was making it. So I'm like, well, let me make this. This is what I wish was on YouTube. Let me make it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if I make a video, it's because I want to make the video and not because there are times where, like, I may lean into something because I'm like, this might do well, but I never do anything just because I think it's going to do well, which is why I don't have a gazillion subscribers and I'm not rolling in the YouTube money. I don't know if I could create to cater to the algorithm. And there are people who can, and I love that for them. But I cannot. Yeah. Yeah, so like... Oh, goodness. I missed a wave. I missed the wave. All right, what blue did I use for shoot? Oh, I think it was this. I think it was blue. I think I used blue. Yep. Excellent. See, if I used these pencils more, I would have known right away which color that was. And these are nice pencils. Like, I liked them. Have fun with them. Anyway. Yeah, there we go. That's what. And it's funny, when the brick and minifigs thing was really blowing up, I considered, like, I was like, maybe I just do a video with my opinions about it. And like, and I'll color and I'll talk over it, and like, I could do that. And then I was just like, no, I don't want to go there. You do it once just because, and it was partly because I was so interested in it and watching it and following it, and so it wasn't even like, oh, I could do this and like people would watch. It was like, I'm really interested and invested, and it would make me feel less bad about watching 17 videos back to back if I can turn around and say, oh, it was research for the video I wanted to do. But then ultimately I'm like, no, I'll just film my videos and listen. It'll be fine. Yeah, because again, if you do one video like that because you really want to and then it blows up, then YouTube again is like, oh, this is what you are now. And then you're just like everybody else on YouTube. And so, So yeah, I'm gonna keep making my weird shit. My weird little side niche corner of the internet. The occasional toy video with history and a bunch of color.
When I did the Goldie Gold video, I was just like, it had been rolling around in my head, and I'm just like, does anybody else remember this?
Right?
And I was like, somebody's got to remember this. And then I just
Somebody.
set up the camera and I was like, let's see where this goes. And then I had so much fun doing all the research and going
Yeah.
back and rewatching the old cartoons. I'm like, okay, maybe this is where the channel needs to go.
Yeah, no, I have been enjoying them. Well, especially even Goldie Gold. Like, I never remembered that. And I'm just like, why did I not? And then I went and looked it up, and I can't remember now because that was weeks ago. But like, it was on. I think it was against. So it was on against something. I definitely remember watching. You know, as a kid, that's all it took was like, you know, something's on the same time, Super Friends, or there was that year I watched the Godzilla cartoon with Godzuki. And Godzuki is basically Godzilla, Scrappy Doo. So I'm not completely immune to a weird, cute sidekick there for the kids. Oh man, Godzuki. Ooh. That was for a year. That was my favorite cartoon. That was the one I had to watch all the time. And my grandma would mispronounce Godzuki's name, and I would get mad. That's not his name. It's Godzuki. I think she kept calling him God Sushi or something. I can't. It's been almost 50 years. I can't quite remember, but I do remember getting frustrated that she wasn't saying his name right. But she also didn't like Star Wars. She referred to Chewbacca as that weird space ape. It's got all those weird monkeys and stuff in it. It's like, no, Grandma, it's a Wookiee. No Wookiees. When you finally get to the Godzilla cartoon, let me know, because I definitely want to be first view on that one. So I can tell that story in the comments. I was watching this is etiquette for you guys. If you see me out in the wild commenting on somebody's video, if I make a comment on somebody's video about a childhood memory and an opinion or something, you can just like the comment. If you disagree with me, just keep moving, because I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's a childhood memory. It's not. I'm not presenting a factual reality.
Yeah, when people comment and they're like, and they tell me they're like, I remember this, and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
For so long, I was like, I'm the only one who knows this, and they're like, no, I remember it.
Yeah, no, I commented something on a horror video. Somebody made like a Friday the 13th video, and I commented something on it. And the person just replied, well, with something like, well, that's not true. And I'm like, it's an event. It's the thing I feel. Like, how can it not be real? Like, I'm not saying, like, sweetie, I was there. It was, you know. It's like, this is just how it was. This wasn't me stating a fact of something. This is me saying, wow, like, this is how I felt when I watched it the first time. And I think part of it is media literacy, and they probably didn't actually read my full comment, because it was a novella. Like, from time to time, that does happen where I will write a big, long story in somebody's comments. But again, if you see me in the wild, feel free to just like it and keep going. You don't need to. Da, da, da. I mean, unless you want to agree with me, that's different. Yeah.
Yes, then by all means, go ahead.
By all means, jump in there and let me know that I'm right. No. No, it was just like whoever it was just like the video was trying to say that when they made the original Friday the 13th, they used color theory. And like, so when this character is in blue, it's because blue represents home and hope. And when this character is in red, it means this. I'm like, no, it was 1979. They had $300 to buy clothes for the entire cast. We wore primary colors in the 70s, or we wore brown. Like, there's no deepness here. And they kept getting the color of the Jeep wrong. They're like, the blue Jeep. I'm like, the Jeep is green. And they were like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, bitch, I have watched this movie over 100 times since I first rented it on VHS for my 10th birthday in 1984. Don't fuck with me, Carl. You are 12. This is brand new to you. You watched it 3 times to make this video. No. Anyway. Yeah, there are times where I'm wrong, and I'm fine when I'm wrong. But, like, when I'm not wrong, no, don't do it. Like, I posted a Harley Quinn video I made that's part of a video that will drop next month over on TikTok, and I colored her eyes like red because I was using a kit that only had certain colors, and I'm like, the blue isn't right for her eyes. And somebody just commented, why are her eyes red? Like, it's a fucking picture. It's like, because they are, so I need to go back and just reply to that one. You go back and I'm gonna make up some reason why they're red just to like ruin their day. You did, Todd, right at the end. I don't know what it's gonna be yet. I need to Google Harley Quinn red eyes, and I'm sure something will pull up on Reddit. Because you can find anything on Reddit. Where somebody's like, I had a dream one time where her eyes were red, and I will just put, oh, I was on Reddit, and somebody said that there was a dream where her eyes are red, and I thought it was a really cool idea. And that usually, especially with comic book people, when they're like questioning why something is different, that will really upset them. So I might get to ruin somebody's day today, you guys.
And then it will be a successful day.
It will be, and then I will win. I will win at life. Sometimes you just have to ruin somebody's day. It's not something you're born with. I mean, it is. It's something. Sometimes it's just, some of us have gifts and others don't. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just have to lean into your gifts. Like, sweetie, it's not that deep. It was a pretty color. I had a limited color palette and a set of markers that I'm using. Like, let me see. Where is it? Here we go. So yeah, spoiler alert for an upcoming video. I gotta. Oh wait, I'm not on camera. I'm like, why is it not on the screen? Oh wait, I can do it right there. So I got a bunch of these sets like 6 to 8 months ago. And you will notice in the kit, her eyes are red. Oh, that's what I'll do. I'll just be like, the kit I used gave her red eyes, bitch. There we go. I didn't even have to go to Reddit and make up something. It's like, that's a kit, girl. It was in a kit. Come to YouTube and watch the video. It'll make more sense. Come over there and engage, and that way I can delete your comment. No, I don't delete. I hide comments I don't like. And then they can keep commenting and never realize that nobody will ever see their comment again.
You know, knock on wood, I have not gotten a negative comment yet. Part of me wants one.
Right. I don't, it's weird. I don't get I get really weird comments. Like, when they're weird, it's just like, I don't get super negative stuff. Every so often I'll get something where, like one time I did a video and somebody was like, adult coloring isn't art. You're insulting real artists. And I'm like, I don't have time to break down for you why the adult coloring art hashtag is used here. And then I looked it up and he's in France. I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. I'm like, just go back to your wine and your cheese and not using soap. We'll be fine. Monsieur. And then I just hit his comments. So he's probably still commenting on every video. Thanks for the engagement I can't see. And nobody else can see his comments either. So like he just thinks he probably thinks he's like telling me where the what for, and I'm too afraid to reply. And I'm just like, no, you're just hidden. You're not worth the response, sir. Yeah, there are all sorts of reasons, like, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I've been really lucky, and by me saying this out loud, like I've probably just invoked. I've probably invoked mean comment, and that's fine. I'll just hide those too. I did have somebody follow me back from like a Toy Geeks episode where I made a comment, and they followed me to argue with something onto my channel, and I just hid them. I was like, yeah, no. This video isn't even about whatever that was. But that's the only time I've gotten like a really like shitty comment, and that was just them trying to argue with me over research. It's like, sir, like two different places back up that research. So that one was weird, but also like, like depending on what property, like depending on the property, different people watch those videos than necessarily would watch just an episode of Geek Dad Life or even just Secret Galaxy. So yeah, that's the only time I've gotten one where I was like, ooh. But and again, it wasn't necessarily even really about me. It was just them being shitty because the research didn't back up what they thought the answer should be. It's like, it's not really that serious, y'all. It's an old toy line from like the 80s or 90s. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm right and you're wrong, so it's even less of a deal because you're just now being an asshole. So well, let me rephrase that. My research backs this up ×2. And what you're saying didn't show up in any of the research. Doesn't mean it's not true. It just means it's not likely. But that's way too many words for a chud. So there you go. There you go. Oh, we're almost at 2 hours. I'm not quite done. Let's see what's left. I've got Shelly's boots and all the gold, her skin, her hair, and the tambourine. How are you doing, James? Are you done?
Sort of. I'm just adding finishing touches.
All right, cool. Well, if you don't mind, we'll do. I bet I can finish this in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And it would be really cool to finish. So, you don't mind hanging out for a few more minutes?
Not at all.
Excellent. I got too distracted by the difference in the reference picture and reality.
In reality, yep.
And then I paused to like grab the Harley Quinn box because I made the mistake of remembering that person said that thing, and I need to go reply to it on Twitter. I mean, on TikTok. Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in years. All right, there we go. All right, skin and hair, and it's like her tambourine is turquoise. Excellent. Oh yeah, those people are like how dare you? Oh, and let me pull it back. Let me guess, it was the what's her face, the Destro character, the Destro's new like lieutenant person, because I pre-ordered that figure. I am not all in at all for classified, but I buy the late. Speaking of which, I need to. I think my Don Moreno is in my pile of loot. And these people are frustrating because it's stupid. Like, yeah, and that's the thing. You know, like we saw this whenever. Well, not only she's such a cool figure, like. Yeah, and of course, like it's the same people like Emily made them do that. It's like, no, like the reality of the market makes them do that. Like the people who are online complaining about finger quote DEI in a toy line of all things, forget that like there's a pretty big segment of people who aren't online in the echo chambers buying these toys. And surprise, surprise, there are way more Black women and women of color buying toys than you might think, because a lot of them aren't making YouTube videos. There are a lot of people like myself who just like a good female action figure. I have an entire, the only G.I. Joe classified figures I buy at this point are favorites from childhood and the ladies. So I'm getting Mistress Armata. Why? Because she's a cool lady action figure from the Action Lady shelf. If they weren't releasing her, I wouldn't be buying G.I. Joe probably for a while. And that's, you know, just the reality of what my collecting is. So it's like, that's a sell Hasbro wouldn't have had otherwise. You know, like I got Shooter, and like Shooter is such a cool figure, and there were some people whining about that being too woke too. Like, I don't think people realize that sometimes, you know, maybe it's not the character you want, but like it brings in people who may not buy any other G.I. Joe stuff, but will buy that one thing. And brands need stuff like that to survive. You need people who are only going to buy maybe one or two figures to keep it going. Like, I don't know. Like, when people whine about DEI stuff, it really just makes them sound ignorant. Especially when it's a toy line. It's like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. It's not... It's a figure that there would be no figure happening if they didn't do that figure. Like, it's not like it's keeping you from getting something. But there are just some people who have to be sad and unhappy and take it out on everyone else. So, yeah. All right, I am done. So I'm going to embiggen it just really quick. There we go. Jabberjaw, done.
Very nice.
Thank you. And then yours, let's take a look at. Very nice. It's great. Good job, James. And I think you were nervous the first time you came and colored with me.
I know, right?
You're like, I'm going to be terrible at coloring. And you were not. And you get. And you've also, I've seen on your Instagram, you've been coloring without me. So, like.
Yeah. When I go into the office twice a week and I'm bored, I'm like, I'll just start to color. And so.
Excellent. See? Yeah, no, that's a good usage. I will do that. I mean, obviously I color a lot, but whenever I have to do a Zoom meeting, I don't color, obviously, channel stuff. That's when all of my fancy adult coloring books come in handy. So I would just sit there and color. It, I mean, when it's an employee meeting, it's fine. And sometimes when a client's on, it helps my face from doing things that my face shouldn't do in a client meeting. I'm not really good at anymore. I used to be really good. I used to be really good about hiding my expression, and not so much. Anyway, yeah, so 2 hours that we should go. James, where can the people find you?
So you can find me on the Instagrams, on the YouTubes. I'm at Mint with Card. And yeah.
All right, really quick, just in case anybody is missing it, there is your channel. There we go. And
yep, if you guys really like Jabberjaw,
right here in the chat, there's the link to James's Jabberjaw video. So go check that out when we wrap it up. There you go. And what do you have coming next week?
So next week we are looking at yet again another Scooby-Doo clone, and we're going to be looking at Clue Club and getting justice for Dottie.
Oh my God, it's good. Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. All right. Let's see. And then for here on this channel, let's see what's scheduled. I know something comes out tomorrow. Tomorrow, the Ultimate 90s Flashback Coloring Book starring Superman. So if you like 90s Superman, there is a flip through and coloring. Got some shorts coming this week. Surprise, surprise. We've got some G-Force Battle of the Planets Gotcha Man, a G.I. Joe wetsuit, and Sailor Moon and the Sailor Starlights. Friday, Color and Chill will be GoBot's Cycle Has Escaped. Saturday, Barbie and the Rockers, Color and Chill. That's 5 Barbie and the Rocker pages. And then next Sunday, I will be off from live streaming. However, I do have a video dropping at 11 a.m. Celebrating 3 years. I've been on YouTube 3 years now. It'll be 3 years on the 20th that I released my first video. And to celebrate, I'm redoing the Evil Lyn vintage cardback art, which is one of my first long form videos. And I was going through all of those and just realized my original Evil Lyn cardback coloring sucked. So I redid it. So you'll get to see the original and then the new one, and tell me in the comments which one you like better. And although I won't be live, I may go and set it so that it's a premiere if I will be in the space unpacking. So maybe we can do chat while it's happening. Don't know yet. If you see it pop up as a premiere, that's what it means. And on that note, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, James, for joining me. And
thank you for having me.
We'll see you in the next one. I will drop on the community tab live streams after vacation. I am still locking in dates, but rest assured, cool people will be here. And on that note, we're going to leave you with the question we've all had since 1984.
Which one of you bitches is my mother?